Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. The heavy stillness inside the ranch was finally broken when Victor placed his drink on the bar cart with a sharp clink and turned to. His voice was low but carried the kind of authority that made even silence feel tense. "We found," he told her with a grim sense of victory. The words sank in, but there was no celebration in his expression, just weary relief. Meanwhile, across town, Sharon hovered near, who sat behind the sterile bars of the holding cell. The one steady now looked like a flicker of herself, her eyes puffy from tears, her lips trembling from regret. Sharon couldn't stop looking at her, trying to process how things had spiraled this far. It was too much. One son safe, one daughter behind bars. Victor shifted the conversation from the emotional to the strategic. He brought up Kane's silence. He wasn't answering calls, wasn't giving any signs. Billy had warned him of a possible betrayal, and Victor, ever the strategist, was beginning to believe he should listen. "Kane might been trying to double-cross us all along," Victor murmured darkly. "I'm going to get to the bottom of it." At Tower, a storm was already brewing. Stood at the CEO desk, her fingers flying over the keyboard. Billy, barely containing his amusement, teased her while keeping one wary eye on the door. "Knocking Kane out cold might be your best move yet," he quipped. Ignored him, focused on the task at hand, transferring sole ownership of Enterprises to herself. With a smug smile, she clicked the final confirmation. "It's done," she declared. "Not done yet. Next up, media transferred directly to Sally." Billy, breath tight in his chest, waited as she transferred Chancellor to him, and just like that, the chessboard had been turned upside down. "This is way more fun with a partner in crime," grinned, proud of the carnage left behind. "Very productive day." But the mood crashed the second Victoria stormed in. "Disgusting," she spat. "How did I know I'd find you two together?" Her voice sliced through the room, venom dripping with every syllable. She tore into first, then pivoted to Billy, the betrayal burning so deep she could hardly speak. Cool as ever, simply wondered aloud how Victoria kept managing to get inside. "Do you live in the walls?" Victoria's rage intensified when she discovered that now owned Enterprises. And Billy, her Billy, was right there backing her up, betraying everything they once built. "You're disgusting," she snapped, "and pathetic." Billy, tired of the guilt, tired of defending himself, cut her off. "It's over, Victoria, it's done." "You sold yourself for Chancellor," she hissed. "You should be ashamed." And maybe he was, but wasn't letting Victoria walk out without a scratch. They reminded her that Victor had gone after them after Jack and Jabot with no shame. "We're just playing by the same rules," Billy said. "Means everything to my father, to me, and to our children," Victoria cried. "And your children are too." But Billy was convinced they'd thank him one day, that they'd understand. Victoria glared at him, eyes blazing with fury. "I'll make sure they know how hateful you are," she promised. "They'll probably never want to see you again." At the mansion, arrived on Jack's doorstep seeking refuge and counsel. They briefly touched on safe return and arrest before she shifted to the matter of Kane and Victor's manipulations. Jack, hearing about the fake kidnapping of Lily and the twins, was appalled. "Victor did what?" Explained that it was all staged, a ruse to manipulate Kane, and it worked. Kane caved to Victor's demands, but now he'd gone silent. Billy warned Victor there might be a double cross, confessed. Jack didn't shed a tear for Victor. He's finally paying for his greed and vindictiveness. Still, he was worried about losing Chancellor. She looked to him, desperate for some insight into Billy's next move. "Who does Victor bargain with now?" she asked. Jack sighed. "The more desperate he becomes, the more dangerous. Who's he going to abduct next?" But when he saw the pain in his eyes, his anger softened. She defended Victor, his legacy, his family, but Jack countered with hard truths. "He used the program, he manipulated you." She broke down, tears flowing freely, and Jack held her tightly in his arms. That's when walked in. Her eyes locked onto the embrace, her face hardening, quickly stepped back, explaining she'd come to talk about Billy. Was cold, polite, but her eyes said it all. Once left, turned on Jack, fury simmering beneath her calm exterior. "She uses your affection to get whatever she wants," spat, "and you let her." Jack defended, argued she's the only one who can sometimes rein Victor in, but had heard enough. "I'm sick of it," she cried, her voice rising. "She's playing you, and I won't let her destroy our family." Meanwhile, Victor arrived at the train, finding Kane unconscious on a cot, unresponsive. "Kane?" he called out sharply, but there was no answer. Victor quickly called Adam. When Adam arrived, he knelt beside Kane and tried slapping him awake. Nothing. Then the sharp chemical scent hit them. Chloroform. They looked at each other. Adam muttered. "She played him." Victor's jaw tightened. She used Billy to distract us and knocked Kane out cold. This was always the plan. Back at Crimson Lights, Victoria made a call to Victor and Adam. She updated them, and Billy had gloated about cutting Kane out and now claimed total control of. She was sure Billy had accepted Chancellor as his reward. But was arrogant, and Victoria knew arrogance was a fatal flaw. She's going to slip up. We'll get back, she vowed. Victor's response was steady and sharp. We will get it back and more. Inside the coffee house, Victoria spotted Nate. She got the good news about, but Nate expressed concern over not being able to reach Lily. She hadn't responded to messages or calls. She doesn't even know about, he sighed. Victoria reassured him she'd turn up. When the topic returned to Billy, Victoria's mood soured. She intended to ensure her children would never look at Billy the same again. Nate was stunned. You'd really turn them against their father. They deserve the truth, Victoria said coldly. Billy crossed a line. Nate nodded but warned, remind me never to piss you off. They were laughing by the time showed up. Nate excused himself politely, but Victoria's smile faded. She suddenly confessed, I knew about Lily being taken. Blinked a what? I didn't say anything, and now I don't know if Nate finds out. What if it changes everything? Tried to calm her daughter, assuring her Lily would have a cover story if she was involved. Then gently she asked, how do you really feel about Nate? Bakat saw Billy was spiraling after Victoria's threats. Don't let her get in your head, she warned. Your kids love you, she's just trying to get under your skin. Billy stared ahead, eyes dark. She's right about one thing, Victor's a monster, and now he'll try to make sure I never see my kids again. Didn't flinch, then we fight for the company, for the truth, for your kids. Billy looked away, but the worry in his eyes said he wasn't sure it'd be enough. At the mansion, Jack paced the floor, hands in his pockets, tension rolling off him in waves. Followed behind, her heels tapping against the hardwood. The silence between them was heavy until finally snapped, answer me honestly. If it were you who had used the program against Victor, would you have handed Chancellor right back to? Jack turned, meeting her gaze squarely. I'm not playing that game. Her voice trembled, not from fear but fury. She knows you'd do anything for her, she plays on that. She's using your guilt, your past, everything. Jack's tone was firm, that's not fair. Isn't it? His voice rose, her composure cracking. What about me, Jack? What about we almost lost Jabot? We almost lost everything we built. When is it enough? She didn't wait for an answer. With one last look at him, eyes filled with rage and pain, she turned and stormed upstairs, leaving Jack to stare at the stairs with haunted eyes. Across town at Crimson Lights, Victoria sat with, trying to keep her emotions in check, prodded gently about Nate, but Victoria waved it off. There's no me and Nate, okay? I can't afford distractions. But was focused on something else, you saw in Victor's chair. She transferred everything into her name, Victoria confirmed. Kane's out and Billy was standing right beside her. The news hit like a punch. She clutched her purse, stunned. Victoria's eyes narrowed with determination. If Billy follows through and keeps Chancellor, then he's dead to me. I will cut him out of the kids' lives and he'll have no one to blame but himself. Back at Tower, Billy stared out the window while leaned against the desk, watching him. You heard what she said, Billy muttered. She meant every word. Pushed off the desk, crossing to him. Victoria has her father's blood in her veins. She's ruthless, but your kids aren't blind, they love you. Billy turned to face her. Victor will do whatever it takes to make sure I lose custody. He'll drag me through court, paint me as unstable. If that happens, then what was all this for? Didn't have an answer. At the ranch, Victor stood at the bar, swirling a drink in his hand as Adam entered. They're still at the tower, Victor reported. Adam raised a brow, so it's not over yet. Victor turned, his eyes sharp with purpose. No, there's still time to end this nonsense. Adam smirked slightly, we could have back tonight. Victor's smirk mirrored his son, let's do it. At society, Sally was celebrating her unexpected fortune with a celebratory drink. She couldn't help but gloat a little too, who sat across from her trying to keep her jaw from dropping. You own media now. Signed, sealed, delivered, Sally confirmed with a grin, all thanks to. Frowned, are you sure this isn't going to blow up in your face? It might, Sally admitted, but for once I'm not watching from the sidelines, I'm in the game now. Meanwhile, sat in Victor's office, leaning back in the chair that once belonged to the great man himself. She spun around slowly, admiring the power that now pulsed through her fingers. Billy watched her silently, still conflicted. Regret starting to kick in, asked him, almost teasing. Billy shook his head, I don't know, maybe. Before could say more, a text pinged on Billy's phone. He read it, his face falling. "Oh, what is it?" He turned the phone toward her. It was a message from Jack. "Victor's planning something tonight, get out of. Cursed, he's moving fast." Billy's heart pounded. What do we do? We hold, decided. This is our company now. He has no legal claim unless he plays dirty. Billy laughed bitterly. He always plays dirty. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, returned, Victor stood near the fireplace waiting for her. How was your talk with Victoria? Sighed, she's angry and rightfully so, but she's hurt more than anything. Victor's expression softened only slightly. She's strong like her mother. Took his hand. What are you planning, Victor? He met her gaze but didn't lie. Whatever it takes. Didn't speak for a moment. Then softly she said, don't go so far that you can't come back. At Crimson Lights, Nate sat alone looking down at his phone. Still no word from Lily. His mind drifted to Victoria, her cold resolve, her sharp words. Was that what he wanted to sign up for? She was fire and fury, and yet he couldn't help but be drawn to her. Elsewhere, Victoria stood in her suite watching an old photo of her and Billy with the kids. Her fingers hovered over it before she placed it back down, face down. Her eyes burned with tears she wouldn't let fall. You made your choice, she whispered to the silence. Now live with it. Back at Tower had just locked the office when the building's lights flickered. Billy tensed. Was that? The power cut out completely. In the silence, a distant elevator dinged. Looked at Billy, he's here. They stood motionless, the darkness wrapping around them like a shroud. The war was far from over, and in Genoa City, power was a dangerous game. But the players were all in. And the night was just beginning.